All right. I want to talk a little bit today on the shooting that happened yesterday in Uvalde, Texas. The totals now are 19 children dead, 2 adults dead. It's extremely sad. But what we're seeing in the media is typical. We're getting the typical response. Those on the left are saying, what are we doing? We need more gun control. When will this senseless violence end? Those on the right are saying, it's not the guns, it's we need to do better background checks. We need to make sure that mentally ill people aren't getting their hands on weapons. And it's the same cycle that's going to continue. And in our political system, it's going to continue and continue because they never do anything about it. They just talk. So things that I've learned over the years, one of the main ones being politicians are going to talk. They're going to take opportunities that could bring unity together, in which we say, you know what, as a nation, we all mourn the loss of these children and what happened was wrong. And our hearts go out to these families. And let's join together in understanding that this has to stop. We may disagree on how to get there, but we all recognize that it's wrong. Instead of saying that one side is cool with it because they believe that guns are something that we should have, or one side being like, you're just trying to take away guns from everybody. We need to recognize, I think, what the root of the problem is. And what I believe the root of the problem is, I do believe it's not guns. I believe that it's not knives, it's not vehicles. As we know, last year, there was a dude that ran his car through a parade, killing a bunch of children and old ladies. How awful is that? How much did we hear about it in the media, though? That's the other thing. If it's a perpetrator of the crime that goes against the narrative that essentially that white people are the bad ones and they're the ones that do bad things, if it's another race or something like that, then we're going to talk about what happened, but we're going to talk about it briefly and we're going to move on, because we're going to, as the media, if by now, if you don't understand that the media is biased heavily towards the left, with the exception of Fox, then you're not looking hard enough. But when they capitalize on a moment, which they're doing with this one, but they won't capitalize on it fully because the dude that did it is named something Salvador. He's a Hispanic dude. So that doesn't fit their narrative. So they're going to kind of steer clear of that one for after a little bit. They're going to try to go after the guns, but then they're going to kind of steer away from that after that. But anyways, it's not the guns. It's not the vehicles. It's not the knives. It's not whether it's a handgun or an automatic weapon. What I do believe that it is ultimately is the mental illness, or let's call it mental sickness. And let's start to realize or be willing to admit that our country is getting really mentally sick in many ways. And we need to, this is another thing that we disagree on. We disagree on what constitutes somebody being mentally ill or mentally sick. I want to talk about the things that we agree on in the mental illness discussion. What I believe that we all agree on is that people do not feel valued as who they are. They feel largely neglected. They feel like they aren't heard, they aren't being seen, that they aren't important, that they aren't special. These are basic 101 self-esteem things that these children growing up, our children, our teenagers, our young adults, all the way up through a dude that's 42 years old like me, all the way up past that to people in their 50s, 60s, 70s. We need to do a better job at helping each other to feel like they are important, that they are respected, loved, valued. And here's where I think we're missing it. And I think it's probably all part of a bigger plan of whoever the powers that be are behind everything. I believe there's a lot of attempts to divide us in every single way possible. They're doing it according to gender. They're doing it according to sex. They're doing it according to race. They're doing it according to ideology. They are trying to find every possible way to divide us as a country. And I think they're doing it according to coronavirus, vaccinations. They're doing it according to masks. There's so many different ways that we can see that they are dividing us. And the reason I believe that they are dividing us is because ultimately I think that there are some powers behind the scenes. They are trying to change our country to make it into something else. Now, whether that's for the one World Economic Forum purposes of like a global government that controls everything, and they want to make us more easily controlled, I think there's some merit to that conspiracy, or whatever it might be. But what we've got going on is a lot of people are feeling separated from each other, and they want to have a voice. They want to feel like this is their moment to be important, to do something. Or if they're so dead or numb inside from feeling like they haven't been heard, they might do something such as take a gun into an elementary school and kill children. We are seeing what's happening. We're seeing that these are people that are doing these things that are coming from a sick place in their minds. Somebody that is healthy of mind does not go into an elementary school full of children and shoot them. It doesn't happen if you're well in your mind. So we need to look past all of the disagreements, the things that the powers that be are trying to use to control us or to divide us so that they can control us. We need to look past those things, and we need to look back at the common themes that we have together that unite us. The common theme that we have that unites us, at the end of the day, no matter what, we are human beings. And we are all part of this, the human race. And let's leave all of the different, attempts to divide us of like, you came from this place, I came from this place, your skin color is this, so you got more privilege, or you've got less privilege because of your skin color. Let's remove all of those things, and let's just agree that as humans, we are equal. And as humans who are equal, it is our responsibility and our duty to each other to love each other as we would love ourselves. I'm going to bring in the ultimate, the great Jesus Christ into the discussion, who says the two greatest commandments are love God and love others like you would love yourself. All of the rest of the commandments are summed up into these two. If we can love God and love others, and even if you don't believe in God, you can still love others, and we all recognize what that looks like. Now, me as a believer in God, that means that ultimately inside, if you're capable of recognizing what love is, God is love. So you don't really not believe in God. You just see it in a different way, and you're not calling it God. And I respect that. Go ahead and call it God, call it not God, call it love, call it whatever. But we recognize as humans, we are to love each other. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. If you don't want somebody to come into a school and shoot you, then you should probably not do that. But it goes beyond that. If you see somebody that's sitting alone somewhere, maybe give them a smile, maybe say hi to them. If you are in a situation where you're around somebody and maybe they're being a jerk to you, maybe step back and be like, when have I been a jerk? And what caused me to be a jerk to somebody else? Was it because I'm a bad person, or was it because I had something happen to me that makes me feel bad and I'm hurting right now, and I just wish that somebody would come up to me and show that they care, that they're willing to give me some grace and some love, because I sure do need it right now in this moment. This is what we need to do. And it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what skin color. It doesn't matter any of those things. None of those things matter. What matters is that we help people to feel loved. And it's our duty, it's our responsibility to do that. We live in an outrage culture right now where it's trendy or it's entertaining. Let's say entertaining. I think entertaining is the appropriate word. People are entertained by people having rage, by people going off on other people, by actual violence. People are entertained. We see this in social media and what the media outlets feed us. They feed us things that make us angry. And so they're doing the things that they can to maximize on that. And they know that we are, as humans in America, are entertained by it. That's the thing that we keep going back to. So we need to move past this impulse to do what we're seeing on social media and what we're seeing on TV, which is all of these people who are responding with anger towards things and othering other people, making them into enemies, making them into these monsters that aren't even human because they disagree with us on certain political points of view. We need to get back to those moments of using our prefrontal cortex, which separates us from animals. It's that higher logic and reasoning category of our brains that in humans we have that other animals don't, which tells us, hold up, you know what? Acting with anger, acting with rage, popping off in a knee-jerk response. These are not the things that we do as humans because we're not animals. We act on a higher level. So on that higher level, we recognize and remember that we are one, and we put other people first, and we love them, and we care for them. And in doing so, I believe that if we want to see gun violence decrease, if we want to see violence decrease overall, that's where it starts. Go back to the 60s. Go back to what the Beatles were talking about. Imagine all the people. They're right. He's right. Let's go back and let's freaking love some people. That's what we need to do if we're going to see change happen. It's not from taking away all of the guns. It's not from taking away all of the cars. Because, yes, people will use whatever method they need to kill other people. This is a fact. If you take away the guns, I guarantee you, I will bet you $1 billion that people, if they want to still kill somebody or many people, they will still do it, whether you take away all the guns or not. Ultimately, what it comes down to is we got to love each other. We have got to love each other, and we've got to hold each other up as brothers and sisters in our human race. And we got to love each other. Let's do our best to live our lives as humans with the understanding that we are higher than animals. Let's do our best to evade that knee-jerk response that is popular within our culture. And when somebody is mean to us, maybe consider what they're going through. Maybe consider like, hey, I need to reach out to this person and let them know that they're loved. Even when they do something like that. As a human, I see the good in them. And so I'm capable of understanding what grace looks like, and compassion and empathy. When I use these higher virtues, I can change them and change myself at the same time by doing it. We are higher thinking beings. So we need to take advantage of these things, regardless of belief, regardless of politics, regardless of religion, regardless of skin color. None of those things matter in the end when it is our duties of what we should do as a human. As a human, if we see another human, we show them love like we would want love given to us. Period. So, my heart goes out to these kids from Ulvalde, to their families. My heart goes out to everyone involved. And we got to do better. It's not through having the same arguments done over and over again. It's through loving each other, making people feel loved, important, and special, like they have something worth living for, so that they don't get into a mental state of sickness to the degree that they take a weapon into a school and kill a bunch of children with it because they want to make a statement or they want some form of attention. Healthy people don't do that. Let's help people get healthy again. All right. Love y'all. I'll talk to you later.